Can you take us to how the name self-service came about? Was this during the production time earlier on? Give us a little insight about the name self-service.
Well, I'm 5%. So, I went up north, I got knowledge of self, and, I've been studying mathematics ever since. To this day, I study my math. I'm not as versed as I was back then, but I live by, the 12 jewels. But my attribute is Lord Natural Self, Omniscient Scientific God Allah. You know what I'm saying? So niggas knew me as self. So I'm making the beats, and niggas said, damn, self-service. Man, my niggas was talking one day. I said, yeah, that's gonna be my motherfucking name, nigga. And it's gonna get the service, nigga. And that's how it came about. Like point blank. It's behind me being righteous, self is my attribute, and then the service just had a good ring with the production shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a good. I was gonna ask you that, man. And I had a funny feeling that that's probably where it came from, as far as the 5%, but I
Yeah,
wasn't 100% sure, man. That's dope, man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, since I don't know. I'm sure you know what I mean. Especially like the '80s, um,
yeah.
early '80s, '90s. As far as the 5% nation, Ansar Muslims and all of that was really heavy out here in this boroughs and Long Island.
Yeah.
Um, you know. So
I
yeah.
mean, like one of the groups that inspired me was Wu Tang. Period.
Okay.
Mm.
The RZA
Wow.
is like one of my inspirations. What then it started me because once I got that keyboard in the basement, I'm like, damn. Then I found the RZA used the ASR 10. That shit had me
Right.
like, yeah, I'm gonna make some Wu Tang beat. That's the God too. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And and so if anybody do the history on me, my sound ain't a normal hip hop sound. Like
Okay.
I tried to stay because Wu Tang was so different, and then you had the Nas, you had the NWAs back in 93, 94. This is the shit I came home to. So I'm listening to all this shit, but I'm like, how do I stay away from everybody else?
Hmm.
So the ASR 10 made me say, all right, let me just sample different shit. I tried to make my sound totally different than everybody else. That's why with my intros to the beat drops to everything from like it's like Shut 'em Down was exciting. That shit tore the club up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hell yeah.
Black Trump was just totally different at the time too, because it had the little boom, like it's totally different, and that's why they loved it. But then when I got to like 6 Feet Underground, come through for Story Noriega and Styles P, you know what I'm saying? Fat Joe shit, the opposites attract. I make my intros, then drop and hit niggas in the face and go totally left field from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was my whole sound at the time. So, but my inspiration, hands down, was RZA, bro. The whole Wu Tang movement. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you because I was curious about, being that you said you started making beats the way you started, who inspired you, or
Yeah.
if you had anybody mentoring you, like as far as showing you little tricks. Um, but at least even hearing you say the RZA, that's it makes sense.
Yeah. It wasn't nobody that helped me. That's the crazy part. Like my hood was shady. Shady bit.
Yeah.
So it was niggas there, like I said, Steve Stout, Shot My, it was niggas there. And then I would come out, because I was on some street shit, I was more in the clique that niggas didn't want to fuck with.
Right.
Like my clique was the niggas like you don't want to fuck with. But everybody in the neighborhood knew us. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I, oh shit, Shot make beats? Cool, I got this. Let me go talk to Shot. Then I couldn't catch Shot. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm.
Steve Stout in there. Oh, let me go to Steve. We couldn't catch Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, shit was just that. So I said, you know what? Niggas ain't going to talk to me. I'll figure this shit out myself. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And like I said, the inspiration just came from then. There was no YouTube or nothing back then. It was just
Yeah.
me listening my ear to the sound and then saying, all right, I got to make my own shit, but I can't sound like the RZA. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
it caused me to experiment a lot, but I had no help from nobody with the shit, man. I did it myself.
Hmm. Amazing.
Great.
Amazing.
Yeah. Hip hop heads always kind of look in the liner notes for producer. You know, anything that we can just to feel like we're part of that project. You were working with heavy hitters, Smith and Wesson, Onyx. Why was your name not being thrust in the forefront? Was there something going on in industry, or did you want it that way, particularly to be behind the scenes?
See, and I was a street dude no matter what. So street niggas, the first code is you don't get in front of no cameras. You know how niggas don't say my name. Niggas take pictures, niggas hide from the picture. I grew up over that. So no matter what, I'm getting my money. I'm like, okay, let me just hide in the background. I didn't want to be in that limelight. And I said that in an interview recently. You know, I just come from that era where we didn't want to be in the limelight. As long as I get my money and I'm everything cool. I'm back low on the low, creeping, doing what I do. But, in hindsight, when I look at it, it's like, okay, if I would have done that back then, I probably would have been in another situation by now. You know what I'm saying? If I
Okay.
would have jumped out front and went with the whole publicity part of it. Because at the time I did the Onyx joint, that the Shut 'Em Down was one of the first songs, God Bless the Dead, DMX came out on.
Right.
One of the first, if not the first, one of the first that he publicly went out on. And then Shut 'Em Down the remix, I did the remix too, and Big Pun, God Bless the Dead, was on the remix with Noriega.
That's right. Yeah.
Was on me with Noriega. So I just didn't want, I could have went out and everybody was talking about me buzzing, and I kept getting placements after that. That's why I got over 25 platinum albums I was part of, because placements was just rolling in from there. And I could have jumped out, did the little I'm just not that nigga for that. You know what I'm saying? I've never been, respectfully.
Yeah.
I don't know nobody to do it, but, and to this day, I'm just now doing interviews. I haven't done this shit in years. I'm just now doing it. And I'm good. Mind you, I'm good without music. I do the right thing. I got shit happening outside of entertainment. So, like I said, I got 14 kids, big house in Miami, Blake. I'm good. And it ain't even the music shit. I still get residuals and all that, but I just ain't never been that person. But right now, I know at this point, I see how history is getting rewritten a little bit. And by me being quiet, niggas don't know who the fuck I am. And I'm responsible for a lot of shit in the 90s, a lot. And then other people be saying that it's them that did it, or because they know I don't go public. It's like, and I let the shit go for a while. But,
well,
now I'm going public.
That was amongst everything you've done and all of that. One of the things that interests us a lot was exactly that you're speaking on right now. Because us, as fans and loving the music and everything, to then sort of find out like, wait a minute, he did this beat and he did that one. And I used to rock out to that Black Trump, and thinking that maybe somebody else did it. So we were, me and Sincere were both kind of like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, so that's one of the reasons why we wanted to, invite you on our platform.
And I appreciate y'all for that, And my people always told me I should have been with public. But like I said, I just haven't been that dude. And if anybody really do the homework on me and look at my discography, like, I really got records.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And being quiet is cool, but then at a certain, I just don't like the fact that, I contributed a lot to hip hop, and I don't get mentioned too much. If I got to give myself my own flowers, that's what I'm doing now. Is giving myself my flowers. And the ill part is Googleable.
It is.
It's not like a nigga lying. My government name is Edward Henson. If you go on these records, you'll see E. Henson and Ja Rule, E. Henson, Jay-Z, E. Henson, Bone Thugs, E. Henson, So at the end of the day, when niggas don't say nothing, I expect them to. Is like, all right, well, you don't give a fuck, but guess what? I'm gonna talk about it now. And it's a different day and time. It's a different day and time. Back then, niggas was so scared that even like, and mind you, and I'm not trying to sound crazy, but there's a lot of niggas like me.
Yeah.
A lot. I know a lot, and I talk to them regularly. Producers
Mhm.
that done shit, and they don't never get no shine or their props for it. So when it come down to it, it's like, you know, I'm kind of inspiring them. And
Right,
back
right.
then, we always thought that if we speak up, we get blackballed or you won't get no burn or niggas don't. But today's the day of the story, man. Niggas want to know the backstory of the shit, the history of hip hop. Niggas want to know where it came from, who really did such and such. And you can't get blackballed today. It's too many
Yeah.
points. And to
Right.
be honest, and to keep it frank, nigga, you can't
Yeah.
blackball me. It's the internet, nigga. A nigga gonna keep rocking. You can't do nothing about that. I
Yeah,
don't
you're
care
right.
who you is. You can't stop that if the story is interesting enough, and especially if a nigga space stating facts. If a nigga lying, that's one thing. But if a nigga telling facts and true stories, like everything I tell and I talk about is actual fact. I'm not gonna lie. That's like lying on your dick, like you lying on some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like nigga, your dick gonna fall off. That's what we say. Like, you know, you think your dick gonna fall? Nah, man, no, I'm not doing that, nigga. I put in a lot of work, man, a lot. And niggas that know. There's a lot of people that know, and they just don't say nothing. So if you don't say nothing, it's cool. I'll say it myself. You
Now,
know?
do you think that also has to do with, like, let's say the circle that you might have been, maybe running with, that there were people in the industry, like you said before, right? Like cats didn't mess with you and your crew because they knew how you guys got down. Do you think that translated into the industry? Like maybe cats were just kind of like, I've heard a lot that within the industry there's like a certain circle, right? There's a certain network of,
Now you talking.
you know what I mean? So does that have anything to do with it? And
I mean,
how come it's so easy that, for example, if you see somebody like who did you mention? Steve Stout. He's done plenty of interviews. I've seen a lot of interviews with him.
mm,
And I'm not to be, like you just said yourself, but I've never heard anybody mention your name in any interview. Anybody that you've been affiliated with, whether it was a record exec or, like you mentioned, like the Irv Gotti's. So
don't mention. It's crazy though. But then, so when you first heard about me, right? Then you go and Google and say, all right, hold on, who is this nigga?
yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
I tell people that don't know, like, yeah, Google it.
yeah.
And then
No,
you
that's
see it's not like I'm not lying. My name is on
no.
these records. I produce these records. And then you start to say to yourself, like, why is this the question you just asked me? Why niggas ain't talking about it? And my concept to it is these dudes want the limelight so bad.
If they scared you'll take it away from them.
And one thing I learned, right? And even to this day, I make beats to this day, and I'm my own fan. I give myself my own flowers. I get busy with this shit. To this day, I got a gift. You feel me? Now, if a person has a talent, and then there's people that don't have talent, there's people that exploit that talent to get to where they get to.
Mm,
But if they don't have the talent, all they is there, and they just use the exploitation to try and get themselves to where they at. But if you got a talent, you always gonna have a talent.
right, right.
I could bounce back anytime. Like right now, I'm doing the Dogman soundtrack with DMX last movie, the whole soundtrack. And when that shit come out, I'm bodying that shit on purpose, just to show niggas
We're,
who
we're,
the fuck I was.
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
But
to
I'm
that.
doing that. And my man Tone, I told him when he came to me about it, I said, yo, I got something to prove. Because I need niggas to understand, like, I could close my eyes and make beats, my nigga, on an iPad, on a cell phone.
Mm,
Joint, that's gonna work. And I'm not worried about it because I have a gift from God. But if you ain't got a talent, you got to then always try to, you know what I'm saying?
hmm
Use somebody with a talent to get in front And then when they get in front, they're not going to talk about the talent
Right.
that got them there. And
Yeah.
that's my concept on when you hear, and like I said, there's more niggas like me. Like my man Little Rob. I'm just talking about the Murder Inc. situation. Little Rob, Fingers, Reb, DL, fucking Jimmy Kendricks. There's niggas out here, son, that put in work, that get busy, but you don't hear about none of these niggas. DJ Shock. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You don't hear about these niggas, son. But these niggas is responsible for the records that the whole hip hop world love. But they think somebody else, because them niggas took the front. Their talent ain't there. So they had to do something to make themselves feel relevant.
Wow.
And then if a nigga don't speak up, then he get lost in the sauce. So me right now, and I'm being honest, mad niggas producers been reaching out to me like, yo, Self, I'm so happy you talking about this now. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I could talk about it now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this shit happened to niggas so much. And to be honest, man, like, and I'm transparent with my shit. That shit sent me through a depression state that was crazy. I ended up back on Rikers Island in the fucking sixth building doing a bid. You know what I'm saying? A little short bullshit bid. Then I'm like this big producer in my mind, and everybody. And then I ended up on an island with crackheads and dope fiends. I'm like, nigga, this shit ain't it. But while
Right.
other niggas is taking my credit and making money off of my shit, ain't
Wow.
cool, nigga. Ain't cool. I get kicked out my crib. I lived in Inglewood, New Jersey, next to Eddie Murphy shit. Got kicked out the crib, lost my cars. I had all kinds of cars. Lost everything, man. Inspired me into depression. So I don't give two fucks if a nigga like what I'm talking about right now.
Right.
I bounced back from that shit and I'm going to tell the story. And if I can help anybody else come along and they need any help with it, that's what I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying?